the result exactly shows that there is anti-incumbency, how anti-incumbency looks like. And that's why TDP and as a major ally of the BJP with majority number of seats, and as we all understand at this point, BJP will need support of the alliances, and BJP will have to be liberal when it comes to dealing with alliances, right? So that is why I think TDP has an edge, and they will be able to, they will, like Chandrababu Naidu, will be able to bargain a lot in terms of cabinet berths and all the kind of powers, all the pending deals what he had earlier, which couldn't be completed. When it comes to Nitish Kumar, like I have very less confidence of on Mr. Kumar. Like if as Aditya said, that if he gets to see that okay, I can become the chief prime minister, he can make a different statement in the evening today. So as but
No, but what are the odds that the India bloc will take him back after what he did?
see, Lalu Prasad Yadav, if you remember that he already said कि politics में कुछ भी हो सकता है, दरवाजा सबके लिए खुला ही है, ठीक है. So this is something, ये तो होता ही रहता है. And when it comes to Nitish Kumar, nobody believes that he is anybody's. So they will try to bargain with him if the situation really arises in that case. Or else, what Aditya said, I think what he has been wanting for a long time, that he wants to be a happy chief minister, happily there ever after, and and remain that position. And of course, because there are already talks, I think in today's paper there are things are there that they want the assembly election to be preponed, and all these ideas are there with the JDU. So now after this result, that aspect is something which we should look out for. If whether JDU still maintains that kind of a demand, that early assembly poll and all these demands, that is something we need to, of course, keep an eye on. But
I do want to put this, and my team is working on this. These are the NDA parties. It's on the top band, Aditya. So you have the BJP, which is obviously the leader of the NDA with 242. The JDU, the TDP we already talked about. The JDS, this is from Karnataka. This is Prajwal Revanna, who has won his uncle H.D. Kumaraswamy, and then one more candidate. They've won 3 seats. The Shiv Sena Eknath Shinde has won 6 in Maharashtra. Ajit Pawar's NCP only 1. So Ajit Pawar's NCP has sort of been told off by the Maharashtra people, who have gone with Sharad Pawar quite clearly and not with Ajit Pawar. Even the Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena has done better than the Eknath Shinde Shiv Sena, but 6 is not bad. And there's a long tail of a few others. There are a couple in the Northeast who are adding about 4 seats to this tally. So the flight risk, Aditya, in your mind, is JDU or TDP? Or do you just think that they're not a flight risk? They're basically people who will, do a good negotiation?
I think based on current numbers, I don't think they're a flight risk. I think India Alliance needs to cross about 240, 250 for them to woo these parties on their side. So probably, I think numbers need to be a little more closer for that to happen.
Do you expect changes in
Pawar,
numbers?
there can be a reunion in the Pawar family. That is possible on the eve of the Maharashtra elections.
On the eve of the Maharashtra elections. So some time for that now. But Ajit Pawar, do you think Ajit Pawar is likely, not just him, we see Chhagan Bhujbal was upset, during campaign. Praful Patel, we've seen flanking Narendra Modi quite a bit during this campaign. What do you think are the fortunes of these 3 men? Ajit Pawar, Praful Patel, Chhagan Bhujbal.
So it was strange because on one hand, Ajit Pawar was backing the Maratha agitators. Chhagan Bhujbal was speaking against the Maratha agitators. So, the NCP was speaking in multiple voices on very key issues. And also there's always, it is a known fact that there is a channel of communication open between the 2 sides of the Pawar family. And so it is unlike the Sena, in which there seems to be a point of no return for Eknath Shinde at least. But that's not the case in the Pawar family. They do talk socially. So it is possible that if they realize that they are better united and so on the eve of Maharashtra election, it's possible they could. The cadres on the ground definitely want them to be together. That's what our reporters gathered in Baramati and adjoining areas. I think you're muted.
Yeah, Naveen Patnaik in Odisha, there's no clear, successor for him for that party. What is the future of the BJP?
So I think this is pretty much end of the road for the BJD. And if the BJP wins a comfortable majority in Odisha, the BJD, whatever leaders are left, it is possible what happened to Mr. Chamling in Sikkim, that after becoming a record-breaking chief minister for around 25 years, he loses power and then lost his party, and his entire party went and merged into the BJP, and now he's lost again. So I think a similar fate could happen with the Biju Janata Dal.
Couple of news points that are coming in. TMC's Yusuf Pathan has now surged ahead of Congress's Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. Maharashtra Minister Sri Mugatiwar is now trailing. BJP's Tamil Soundarajan, who resigned her position as governor to contest this election, is apparently trailing behind the DMK by 15,000 votes. And in Karnataka, the BJP is ahead in 17 seats, the Congress is 8, and JDS is the 3 that we can see up on our screen right now. Yes, Senator, go ahead.
Yes, I think in the last day when we were discussing exit polls, I was raising question about the West Bengal numbers, and I think now it is clear that the exit poll predictions about West Bengal and in general also wrong points, but in West Bengal it was really wrong. Like what I wanted to point out is about Yusuf Pathan, the Baharampur Lok Sabha constituency. In West Bengal this time it is very clear that because the BJP tried to do an aggressive polarization of Hindutva in West Bengal, you will see that in every seat there is a counter. There is the counter consolidation of Muslim voters. If Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary loses from his Baharampur, where he never has lost earlier, that means that Muslim community, the minorities, it's a minority populated constituency. They are not looking at anybody else than like TMC in West Bengal, right? In Aditya also, I was telling him in a private conversation that this time the fundamental strength of Mamata Banerjee, what we are seeing at this point, the results are is women. Like because of the schemes, and this is really remarkable for West Bengal and a woman chief minister. These points are there, this because the scheme like Lakshmi Bhandar, Okay,
Yeah.
you will see if this results continues, and now you will see that the result is kind of still in West Bengal already. So, which means woman of a family, a woman is voting for maybe Mamta Banerjee, and the same family, the man is voting maybe in differently. Huh. So this is very much possible. The kind of trends West Bengal happen at this point. So these two things I wanted to share.
So
And
a
from
couple of yeah, couple of things I want to point out at this point. Uttar Pradesh, Aditya, the SP has done better than the BJP in Uttar Pradesh, and I'm looking at the election commission. The SP is now leading in 36 seats. The BJP is leading in 34. The Congress has 7, so that puts both the SP and the Congress together in a very strong position. A couple of other headlines coming out of Uttar Pradesh at this point. The Prime Minister is leading in Varanasi with a lead of 76,000 votes. Smriti Irani continues to trail in Amethi. Rahul Gandhi leading in Raebareli with over 1.5 lakh votes. Karan Bhushan Singh, Brijbhushan Charan Singh's son, is leading with 51,000 votes, a lead of 51,000. What do you believe this will mean for the state politics of Uttar Pradesh now that the SP is looking much more confident after this? This is a win for them.
It's a huge win. I think this is probably the SP's best performance ever. I think in 2004 they had about 35 seats, so this is close to that. I think eventual numbers will be around about that range. But to accomplish this in the less than 6 months after the Ram Mandir inauguration, I mean, the party which was considered, which was really BJP, presented it as the villain of the entire Ram Janmabhoomi agitation, that the party which fired at car savers. And despite that entire campaign, SPs winning 30 plus seats, winning from seats that they had no chances of winning 5 years back, despite their alliance with BSP. So it's a huge, huge win for SP on its own and Akhilesh Yadav personally. And the full credit to Akhilesh Yadav, Priyanka Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, who campaigned extremely aggressively in the state, and the chemistry between the two parties was quite something. But to be fair, I think this is also partly Yogi Adityanath's vote of dissent against the BJP. A big and Mr. Adityanath has his own support base through the Yuva Vahini and his own caste groups, which don't align with either the BJP or the RSS, so they are loyal only to him. So they can easily turn certain, closely fought seats in favor of one party or the other. So this is also, I think, Yogi Adityanath's way of telling Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah not to mess with him. And the third story from Uttar Pradesh is the complete decimation of Mayawati. And it does seem that her vote has overwhelmingly shifted to the SP Congress alliance and not the BJP. So the Jata voter may have been an anti-BJP voter more than anything else, and that voter has shifted to that side. So huge, huge story coming from Uttar Pradesh.
I just want to point out to our audience, and I'll share this in a little while on the screen. The Adani Enterprises stocks are tanking today. They're down 20%. Adani Enterprises alone is down 20%. I'm assuming it's going to hit a circuit breaker. It's lost 729 points. And remember, the market itself is tanking, but the Adani Group stocks apparently have come down between 17 and 20% today. Obviously, people are reading this out. I mean, the stock market doesn't pull any punches. That Team Adani benefited greatly from being so close to the Prime Minister, and this is a shadow that is now coming over that entire company. And there were a lot of investigations that were not adequately completed, one would say, that may in fact open up again against this company. A lot of things that were given to the company that may be brought under question again. The person we have not spoken about, Aditya, up till now, and I waited, to have this conversation, is Rahul Gandhi. Regularly written off, almost, a career peppered with more failures than successes. Is this, in your opinion, if a success for Rahul Gandhi as a person, as an individual?
Without doubt. Without doubt. I think Rahul Gandhi would stand vindicated to some extent. The Bharat Jodo Yatra, especially the first Bharat Jodo Yatra, did organizationally revive the Congress. It organizationally revived the entire opposition space. It really gave the signal that there is a fight on the ground. And to his credit, he stuck to an ideological, he made it an ideological battle. So anyone who was ideologically against the BJP, he sort of gave them hope and became this fulcrum of that entire of that entire space. From what Congress insiders say, that there was also a lot of microscopic work that was going on. That every district Rahul Gandhi passed through during the yatra, especially in the Hindi heartland and parts of South India, they met representatives of Dalit organizations at the district level in almost every district. So, I mean, even a survey like the Access India Today survey gave Congress an advantage, the Congress Alliance an advantage of 1 percentage point over the NDA among Dalit voters. So, even that survey, which was giving BJP such a huge majority, said that the India Alliance was doing better among Dalits than the NDA. So, in the actual result, it might have been the lead might have been even higher. So, I mean, making Mr. Kharge becoming the Congress president, giving Mr. Kharge a free hand on certain matters, Rahul Gandhi leading the entire ideological battle, and leaving the more political management task to Mr. Kharge was probably a decent arrangement for the Congress. And they didn't show that much of an ego on seat sharing. They let the allies have their way, especially in states like Bihar. So I think a lot of credit is due to Rahul Gandhi and to Mallikarjun Kharge.
Sanatan, do you agree that this is a personal victory for Rahul Gandhi?
Of course, like for Rahul Gandhi, I think he's the only leader. What Aditya also pointed out, when it comes to the ideological battle, when it comes to explaining the ideological battle, it's not that the people of India do not understand that there is an ideological battle. But what this ideological battle is exactly is, in simple terms, I think that is something Rahul Gandhi did very candidly. That okay, this is politics of love versus there is politics of hatred or mohabbat ki dukan. This is a very something really touched people, and you will see that one thing is very clear from this election. Like, of course, it's we are not calling it a day, or we do not know anything about the final outcome, but some of the things are clear. That why is BJP unable to touch the majority number, the magic figure? The reason is the surge in Congress, the number, the surge in Congress, the seats. The why Mr. Modi was so much again, has always been against the Gandhi family and always attacked the Gandhi family, because this is something he has always feared, that if Congress does well, then the BJP will get stuck. Okay, and today is a great day to see that. I think I because I have a power cut at this point, I am unable to watch the TV. I don't know what is the exact number of Congress. So, but
I'll tell you the exact number of Congress. Congress is at 96.
96. So it can touch 100 also. So three figure for Congress after a long time, which is happening. And at the same time, this is why the BJP is unable to reach there. And the credit of Rahul Gandhi of galvanizing the party, the telling the cadres that we exist. We are not a kind of a political party which is just stuck in Das Janpat. We are here. See, I am here. I am walking with you. So this message was very important, and also just the way Aditya talked about giving Mr. Kharge a lot of free hand. At the same time, I think that when it comes to India Gathbandhan, the INDA, DIA alliance, the Congress also showed a broad heart to some extent in several cases. They tried to accommodate as much as people possible. You will see, despite very sharp attacks by
Yes.
Mamata Banerjee to Congress, the Congress High Command maintained a very balanced approach towards her. That नहीं नहीं ठीक है ये सब चलता रहता है
Here's my
ठीक है
question about Mamata Banerjee. Mamata
but
Banerjee at 31 seats. She had initially said she's contesting alone, then she said she will give outside support. What is her status right
yes.
now?
So that is something we will be only be able to like her status is the best known by her, so it's very difficult to predict. But she has a great age in West Bengal as far as the numbers are concerned. And so I don't think that the speculations what the left and Congress in West Bengal was doing that she will join the hands with BJP and all these things, that will not happen in any case. But I think she will be with the because now she has an advantageous position. She's very good at bargaining when it comes to
Yes.
political bargaining and negotiations. I think she will be with the India bloc. That is my
Yeah. So Aditya, this question to you: do you believe that Mamata Banerjee has any wiggle room here, or she will remain with the India bloc? That's question number one. And I'll ask you the other question when you're done answering this one.
Yes, certainly. I think Mamata Banerjee also recognizes that her enemy number one is the BJP. She would also want to tell her anti-BJP voter that she is doing all it takes to fight the BJP nationally as well as at the state level. So Mamata Banerjee, I think the challenge for her is not so much to show that she's against the BJP. She will be against. She'll be the but to show that she is the only anti-BJP force in West Bengal. I think that is what her entire messaging would be in the run-up to the next assembly election in the state. But a huge win for her. I mean, Sandesh Khali doesn't seem to have had harmed her. The BJP has lost ground, and Mamata Banerjee has been in power since 2011. So 13 years of anti-incumbency, and yet she manages to increase her tally compared to the previous Lok Sabha election. So very, very substantial win for Mamata Banerjee here.
You know, the other thing we've not spoken about is Delhi. According to the Election Commission, Delhi is 7 for 7 for the BJP. So Aam Aadmi Party and Congress not able to make a single dent in Delhi. Aditya?
Yeah, no, but not unexpected. I think even in our previous discussions, we were saying that this is how it would probably turn out. Some seats are still very close. I was seeing Chandni Chowk and this New Delhi and East Delhi. These three seats are still about 20,000 margin currently. So maybe these seats could still shift. JP Agarwal of Congress was leading for a brief while in Chandni Chowk. But the other seats are pretty much gone, including that of Kanhaiya Kumar. So, but I mean, I wanted to ask Sayantan this. So, Kejriwal's arrest didn't lead to any sympathy or consolidation behind the AAP Congress alliance?
So before you answer, the Aam Aadmi Party is leading in 3 seats in Punjab and 0 in Delhi. Go ahead.
Yes, like in Delhi, I think in the last conversation also, what we had conversations that when it comes to Modi versus Kejriwal and it's Lok Sabha election, I think the mandate is very clear that people are saying that okay, we want Mr. Modi. And when it comes, and also this is my personal belief that like when the alliance of between the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress, there on the ground it was not very much it was not very much working because see the people who has remained in Congress in Delhi, they are very hardcore Congress supporters, uh, right? Else they have already left and joined BJP or Aam Aadmi Party. So this kind of hardcore Congress supporters who has fought the rise of Aam Aadmi Party on the ground, who have lost everything to the Aam Aadmi Party, supporting the Aam Aadmi Party blindly, uh, is was always a bit difficult. And the Congress, Delhi Pradesh Congress people, they in my conversations, what I found out that Arvinder Singh Lavli, he joined the BJP because of this alliance. This alliance, they believe that it was imposed, and that's why Congress could not support them with broad heart. Last day also, Mr. He told us that in when Udit Raj was absent, when Mr. Kejriwal did a road show, and when it comes to the narrative of sympathy, right? This is my personal belief that Aam Aadmi Party, this playing of victim card, playing of sympathy game, somewhere this is getting overbearing, for the people. Like, all the time, if you like, you just for an example, the time Mr. Kejriwal surrendered to Tihar jail by doing a like going with Z plus category security. The within 24 hours, आम आदमी पार्टी लीडर्स आर कमिंग एंड सेइंग कि उसके लिए कूलर नहीं है, ठीक है, उस 3 वेट मशीन से वेट दे आर मेजरिंग वेट. So continuously this kind of narratives, no, sometimes I believe that to people it is like it is becoming very boring also. So that is something though, as far as Delhi and sympathy and Aam Aadmi Party is concerned. And though it is a bit unexpected, somewhere, some at least one seat or two, it was like it could have
Yeah.
been. But in Punjab, I will say that that of course in Punjab, Aam Aadmi Party is not. It's not in a very great position, but at the same time, people like Aam Aadmi Party. But more of it, I think the what is the other equations, Aditya? If I get to know from you that how it's going in Punjab, then it will be better.
So in Punjab, I think a lot of voters, even though they felt positively about the Aam Aadmi Party government because of the free bijli, they said that at the central election, we think Congress is the main option, and the Congress is the party that can sort of defeat the BJP and prevent any kind of farm laws being revived. So I think that is one thing that has happened in Punjab. The second thing is, of course, Amritpal Singh seems to be winning comfortably in Khadur Sahab. Last I saw on the EC website, he was leading by 83,000 votes. I don't think that lead is going to change because it's a pretty uniform kind of constituency. It's a very rural Sikh constituency. So I don't think some booths will be different from others. It's not that kind of place. So Amritpal will most probably win. Sarabjit Singh, the son of Indira Gandhi's assassin Beyan Singh, he is also leading in Faridkot. So there is a revival of some kind of a hardline hardline Sikh politics in Punjab. Akali Dal is down to one seat. Harsimrat Kaur is leading by a not so big margin in Batinda, but she could pull through. But the BJP exit polls predicted 4 seats for the BJP. The BJP as of now is leading on none. So that day on exit poll day also I said that the India Today exit poll is completely wrong, and this is what is happening. I think they took the survey from Punjabi Bagh and not Punjab. So
I just want to point out though, the stock market, dude, Nifty 50 is down 8% this morning. That's a giant, massive fall. It wipes out all of the gains that we saw post-election, post the exit polls. The Sensex is down 7%. Now, to remind our audience, if it hits 10% before 1 o'clock in the afternoon, there will be a circuit breaker, which means that trading will stop because this is a really unusual and a very large sort of break. It will stop for 45 minutes. If it falls 10% after 1 o'clock, before 2:30, there'll be a 15-minute stop, and after that, there's no stop. So circuit breakers, basically when the market tanks very hard and there are forces on the market, they stop so that, to stop the momentum. And it's likely that that will happen today. The last time we had a circuit breaker was when UPA 2 came back. Manmohan Singh was going to become Prime Minister. We saw a circuit breaker on the upper end. We may see a circuit breaker on the lower end. So I thought I saw your hand go up. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I wanted to ask Aditya that what is the situation of Sushil Kumar Rinku, that the Aam Aadmi Party person who joined? I think he's from
Trailing
Jalandhar.
badly. Channi is leading, Charanjit Channi, former Chief Minister, is leading by a huge margin of over 1.3 lakh or something in Jalandhar. So he is really comfortable.
Right.
I wanted to, in fact, bring out one interesting statistic that has come. In Faizabad, which Ayodhya is part of Faizabad Lok Sabha seat, the Samajwadi Party is leading by 4,000 votes.
Oh, how is that even? I don't even understand that.
I don't know.
So
I mean, if this will last through till the end, but significant.
The BJP is not winning in Ayodhya. BJP is losing in Ayodhya. Correct?
It's very surprising. There was some, and when there was some resentment against Lallu Singh, the MP, but everyone thought that because there's so much work being done because of the Ram Mandir, it might, BJP would certainly not lose there. Maybe they might still win. But as of now, Lallu Singh is trailing and Avdesh Prasad of the SP is leading in Ayodhya.
I think I just wanted to say one thing, that I think there is one trend which is very, because that's why I asked about Rinku also. In West Bengal also we witness this, that there is a resentment or there is a discontent of voters against people who have jumped this turncoats kind of candidates. In Maharashtra also you will see that because that they are not getting the support from the people. In West Bengal also seats like Barakpur, where Arjun Singh, who is like uh, BJP, TNC, BJP, he's losing. In Kolkata North, Tapas Rai is losing. In Maharashtra, I said in Aam Aadmi Party, this Rinku, he's trailing. So there is a discontent, and which is a very good sign, I believe, in politically, that this turncoat should get this lesson that if this happens, then people do not like this kind of continuous flip flops, and this should have happened early, but in this election, it is something I believe it is becoming a good trend. This is one of my readings.
Two people who are trailing still, Smriti Irani and Shashi Tharoor, at nearly, 20 minutes to 1 o'clock, Aditya. Does this mean they're losing?
I think committees, I've not seen Smriti Irani lead much today. So Smriti Irani, so I think that seat seems certain. Thiruvananthapuram can still go in any direction. I think Thrissur was the most stable lead for the BJP, at least until an hour ago. Suresh Gopi
Can we check? Can we check the size of the lead Kishori Lal has over Smriti Irani in Amethi? I don't have those numbers. Do you?
I'll just check that.
So our audience, we're all checking to see what is the lead that Kishori Lal has over Smriti Irani.
It is about 54,000 right now.
Is that wide for Amethi?
It's not bad. It's difficult for her to overcome that lead, especially since he's consistently been leading for some time now.
So there's a strong possibility here Smriti Irani might lose her seat in Amethi.
There is a breaking that Prajwal Revana loses Hassan.
What?
Wow.
Okay.
Indian Express, yes. To Shreyas Patel by 44,000 votes.
I'm surprised. I'm also a little impressed by the voters in Hassan, if they reacted to those videos.
Even though scandal actually hadn't broken out in the media when Hassan voted, but it was already doing the rounds.
Yeah, the videos were already doing that. And I remember reading a story. There was DK Shivkumar who held the video until the very last moment and put it out at just that right time. Is that also what you heard, Aditya?
I don't know actually because the Home Ministry is that way with the Siddharamaiah. So I'm not sure how that transpired in Karnataka.
I mean, not the police, but just the videos. So there was one
Okay, that
story
way.
on social media that said that DK Shivkumar had the videos with him for a while and he held on to them until the opportune moment to release them to cause most damage. So he waited until the Prime
Okay.
Minister came to Hassan, campaigned for this guy. They held their silence that entire time and then released it when they thought they could do the most damage. Also trailing, Mr. Mahan has joined us again. Also trailing is Annamalai in Coimbatore, A.K. Anthony in Pattanamthitta, Adir Ranjan Chaudhary is trailing at this point, just pulling out some more surprises.
So Tarur is trailing by 15,000
Not
behind
very
Aditya.
substantial, but still.
Not very substantial, but yeah, it's still significant.
Omar Abdullah has been trailing all day.
So that I think there was a very interesting candidate there, Engineer Rashid. He was incarcerated for a very long time. I think he was among the most. He had probably the longest incarceration among Kashmir politicians. So Engineer Rashid is the one who's probably winning Baramulla.
Somnath Bharti of the Aam Aadmi Party is trailing. And Supriya Sule is now leading in Baramati. Mr. Mahan, we were just discussing, and I missed you during that conversation, of between Nitish Kumar and Chandrababu Naidu. What do you think their negotiation demand will be? Because they currently hold the cards.
Well, I mean, that's a tricky one, Faye. But to be honest, I think uh, what they would want, because they both largely remained regional leaders so far. Of course, Nitish Kumar does have prime ministerial ambitions that we've all known for at least a good 15 odd years. So it'll be interesting to see because it's. I mean, with those numbers, I don't think he can really stake a claim to becoming prime minister. But I mean, assuming that they will listen to the voice of the people and their suddenly their conscience will wake up, etc., etc. But if they're staying on with the NDA, then I really don't know how much of a leverage they will have because the BJP in its current avatar, considering that they are roughly ending up with 240 seats, it may not be such a huge setback for the BJP to actually consider a change in leadership, at least not immediately, because they do know that they have to cobble together a government. This is now going to be an NDA government. So, to be honest, a much better deal for their states
Yeah.
is what I would assume will be the argument for them to stay on in case they are staying with the NDA and they are planning to go ahead and support Narendra Modi. But from what one hears, uh, I mean, this is too early, I think, for all that
Yeah.
power play to really play itself out. Uh, Things may become quite interesting. It's not a done deal that it is going to be an NDA government, especially if the BJP falls below 235. Then we may well see, some kind of support moving towards the India alliance.
The BJP is currently, as per the Election Commission website, is at 242. That's 241 leads in one Surat seat that it already has in the bag. Plus the rest of its allies. And we'll, the other question I wanted to also ask you is the SP and Akhilesh Yadav, complete change of fortune in this result, Mr. Man.
Absolutely. I think the one state that has uh, probably surprised even all of us who kind of looked at the grassroots realities, who looked at how things were going. The one state, I mean, somehow people were under this very clear and strong impression that things are unlikely to change very substantially in UP. But the fact that in less than, what was it, 4 months of the Ram temple, ceremony, etc., being held in such grand style by Mr. Modi and inviting all of India's power elite and social elite, the corporate elite, everyone was there to make it into a huge, big spectacle. If the BJP is actually trailing Samajwadi Party, and if you put together the whole alliance, they're certainly trailing quite badly. Then this is the story in some senses of the election. And this, in many ways, will mean normal politics in a certain sense, getting back to at least the Hindi heartland, because that's where the BJP in the past decade has dominated like nobody's business. And the domination was built around Uttar Pradesh. And yes, they're holding on to their bastions in Gujarat and Madhya
Yeah.
Pradesh, but Rajasthan certainly they've made a pretty strong comeback. I mean, the Grand Old Party, the Congress is actually leading on 11 out of the 25 seats now. And one of Modi's ministers is definitely trailing and trailing badly. He's at number 3 in the Barmer seat in Western Rajasthan, where when Aditya had spoken about it, it was a young independent MLA, Ravinder Bhati, who was leading, but now it's a Congress candidate who seems to be leading. So clearly, the BJP has been jolted big time in Uttar Pradesh and also quite impressively in Rajasthan. So this means that, and also in Haryana. So this means that the Hindi cow belt, whatever you might want to call it, is beginning to get back to a semblance of normalcy. Faye?
Yes, I just want to point out again, I'm going back to the stock market a little bit on a regular basis because we've seen quite a deep cut. The cut of there's about 7.5% lost on Reliance Industries, but 20% lost on Adani, on the Adani Group companies, but also seeing a cut ONGC, Tata Steel, NTPC, SBI, Power Grid. So infrastructure companies are are being sold off on the stock market right now. JSW Steel. Actually, do we know what happened to Naveen Jindal? Can someone please check for me? That was an interesting candidate that the BJP actually fielded, who used to be Congress, accused, charge sheeted in the coal scam. Now, enlisted in the BJP and presented as a candidate. I want to see how he's done because the company, Jindal as a steel company is
In Aam Aadmi Party, until a loss about 10 minutes back, Aam Aadmi Party had a very narrow lead in that seat.
Okay.
Sushil Gupta of
We're seeing some of the banking stocks come down as well, but mostly infrastructure, cement, and then the loss on the tech front is minimal, but it's largely large infrastructure companies that we're seeing a tank on in the stock market. Aditya, so at this point, can we safely say India is going to form the government? It's likely to be the same prime minister, but there will be a different cabinet.
Definitely a different cabinet because they would have to accommodate far more allies than they did last time. None of the prominent ministries were with allied ministers in the previous government. Now will be more like in Vajpayee era like situation in which defense used to be with George Fernandez, railways used to be with ally most for most of the time. So at least railways now most probably will go to an ally.
Yeah.
Some of these key ministries. So that I think government will be very different there. I think NDA convener's position will become much more important. They would probably insist on a convener from an allied party or at least a BJP leader who has a slightly more inclusive kind of skills. So I think a very different kind of NDA government will be required. I just wanted to point out one thing, and the NDAs has gained something like 33 seats from just two states, Odisha and Andhra Pradesh. And
Yes.
in both the states, India Alliance wasn't really in the picture. Congress is a very marginal player in Odisha now. And in Andhra Pradesh, there was no India Alliance party that was really had a serious chance of winning any seats. So actually, the India Alliance seems to have done well in almost all the states where they had a chance. and it's the NDA's gains have come at the expense of two parties who were in the in the no man's land zone. I mean, what I want to know what Sayantan as well as Mr. Mahan have to say about it.
I am very happy about one thing, that people of India has settled one battle, that they are like Prashant Kishore will also be happy, and Mr. Yogendra Yadav will also be happy.
Mhm.
Uh, I was not expecting a battle between them after the vote, after the election outcome. So both of them will be happy.
The one was really one is Sanjay Kumar. I think I was always team Sanjay
Ah,
Kumar to begin with, and Sanjay Kumar's prediction is the one which has come true more than either of the
yes,
other gentlemen.
absolutely.
I just want to point out some arithmetic on the screen, very simple arithmetic at this point. The halfway mark is 272. NDA is currently at 293, so about 20 away from that halfway mark, with all the allies and everything. On the other hand, nipping at the heels, India is at 232. Those are the numbers on your screen. It's about 40 away from that halfway mark. The gap is not very wide. Aditya, is it likely the gap might close in the numbers that are still being counted, or are we going to stay at these, how many swings do you expect in these seats?
At least in the last half an hour, I've not seen it change
Much.
much. It has been 290 on one side and 225. Now it's 230 here. So I don't see it changing very drastically now.
Right. And I do want to ask you all this. So, one of the complaints, Mr. Mann, I'll take this question to you. One of the complaints that we've had over the last 10 years almost, but mostly over the last 5 years, is that the opposition is really weak. Even within the functioning of parliament, they get, suspended, they get thrown out, they're sitting outside, bills are being passed without opposition say. They're not, the constant complaint that the opposition is just not strong enough. Does that now change? At 230 seats in the opposition, will we have a stronger functioning parliament?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just not in terms of the numbers, but I think the spirit and the overall ambience in the country, within the political world, is just going to change quite dramatically after these results, even assuming that the NDA is able to form a government, etc., etc. But we have to remember one thing, that this this collaboration between the media and the power elite, the power regime in Delhi, I think this is what was leading to a situation where there was a popular perception being built that the opposition is very weak. The point is that if supposing on the streets of Jaipur, say the Congress and the left are protesting, but nobody is covering, nobody gets to know about it. In Hindi, there's a saying कि जंगल में मोर नाचा किसने देखा. So, if the media is just not covering when major important opposition leaders are out on the ground protesting about certain policies or issues, nobody is showcasing all that either on television or even in the newspapers. It's just buried on some inside page, etc. So, part of the problem is, yes, indeed, there was demoralization within the opposition camp. But the other thing is that whatever little they were doing, even that was not transmitted and not allowed to be known to the country and to the people in the country. So I think this was a narrative that was being deliberately created, and this collaboration between the media and the Modi dispensation is what was leading to this perception. That is now bound to change, given that the opposition numbers are going to be much, much larger than earlier, and the fact that the Modi dispensation's numbers and popularity very clearly are declining quite substantially. So I mean, we are going to look at a very, very different India, and it's an India where the all that jazz and all that talk about Hindu Rashtra, etc., will gradually have to diminish. One final thing, Faye, you talked about how do you see if these numbers sustain. What we are not uh, probably evaluating enough is this discord that we've seen over the past month or so between the BJP and the RSS. So will the RSS now look for a change, push for a change, encourage leaders within the BJP who are not particularly thrilled with the way things have gone over the past decade within the party? Will it then encourage them? Will we see dissent? That to me is one of the most interesting things. This equation between the BJP and the RSS, and how it's going, and especially the equation between Narendra Modi and the RSS and Gadkari and the RSS. All of these equations will have to be very closely seen over the next 24 or 48 hours for us to actually see
So,
mm,
a lot of people
what
who
will
are
emerge.
feeling unheard will now need to be heard, like the RSS, for example.
Well, I don't think the RSS has not been heard. The
There were some
RSS is
reports.
no, the RSS has been heard. Come on. I mean, much of the polarizing agenda is being laid out in consonance with the ideological sort of basis of the RSS and the way they've been pushing certain issues. The question is of power sharing
Mm.
and the power sharing between RSS and the BJP. I think that equation is something that will have to be recrafted, and all of us will have to see very carefully. Because if the RSS now puts its foot down and says, no, we need a different leader, then there's no way that Mr. Modi can continue. Because
Because I
as it
remember
is,
reading a report, Mr. Mann, I
no,
remember
as
reading
it
a
is,
report
if
by
the
Ravi
BJP is
Kapoor.
dropping 60 plus seats, and
Yeah.
this was a one-man show all these 10 years, I mean, or maximum one plus one man show. So the others are now going to stand up and be counted and perhaps demand certain changes for the BJP. Otherwise, it would mean as if the verdict is not being heard by the BJP at all. So, how will the Gadkaris, the Vasundhara Rajes, the Rajnath Singhs, etc., now react to these new political realities, and how do most of the RSS-backed leaders within the party actually take this result, and how will they react to all this? Is something that all of us need to very, very closely monitor over the next few days. Faye.
This is super interesting. Aditya, you want to say something? Go ahead.
I had a question actually, but I can go after this section is over. Yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask all three of you, who would do you think would be the next leader of the opposition?
Well,
Because Aditya Chaudhary is losing and might not come into parliament.
Even if he wins, I don't think it will be Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary again. It will be
no.
unless the Congress has a death wish. Yeah. But,
Adi Ranjan is going to be vetoed by Mamta. I'm just being flippant. I'm just being flippant. But to be honest, why not Rahul Gandhi then? I mean, much of this turnaround, whether a lot of a large section of the media does not want to acknowledge it. But to be honest, if things on the ground in the country have changed, much of the credit actually has to go to Rahul and the Bharat Jodo Yatra, which he carried, especially from, October or when it was in 22 to the March or of 23. I think much of the transformation in that's the discourse within the country. Forget what the media was showing, but the discourse on the ground and his connect with the people has certainly increased substantially. And if the Congress is getting above 90, possibly maybe even 100 plus seats, then I don't see why. I mean, obviously, it has to be somebody from the Congress. It could very easily be Rahul Gandhi. And, this whole attempt at not making leaders at just the right time and giving it to somebody else is a terrible tradition in the Congress. I mean, for instance, what we saw in Rajasthan from 2018 to 23, this constant battle between Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot, it could have well been avoided if they just gone. Well, Sachin was the PCC chief. He's the one who worked for 5 years, and they could have handed it to Sachin Pilot. So, and similarly, if they're not doing as well as many expected the Congress to do or hoped that the Congress would do in Karnataka, I think I almost see some shades of the Rajasthan situation happening there, because if there are frictions within the chief minister and the deputy chief minister, and the whole party is kind of going in different directions. There's factionalism. Then they don't come out with the kind of force and strength with which you need if you want to win elections. So I think Rahul, it's high time now if the Congress and he himself has ambitions of leading the country, because one of the constant arguments, if you might recall, has been that, oh, he's never been a minister, oh, he's never held any position of authority or responsibility. So I think it's time for him to stand up, be counted, and why shouldn't he be made? I mean, among all the various MPs, he's also now going to become what, a 5-term MP? He's been winning since 2004.
Yeah. 09, 14, 19, yeah, 5th term.
So he's senior enough in terms of age. Also, he's senior enough. So I personally think that Rahul might just be the best choice in case they're sitting in opposition.
Yeah. So I just want to read out some news that's coming in. Naveen Patnaik in the assembly polls is trailing by 63 votes in his own constituency, but trailing nevertheless. Kangana Ranaut is leading by 65,000 votes. DMK and allies are set for a clean sweep of Tamil Nadu. Although BJP has crossed a 10% vote share in Tamil Nadu, and that is interesting. Anurag Thakur is leading. Rajiv Chandrasekhar has increased his lead over Shashi Tharoor by 22,000 votes. So really interesting sort of movements coming from the ground there. Aditya,
What's the latest update on Amethi? What's the latest update from Amethi?
Trailing by 50,000 votes. Smriti Irani trailing.
Trailing, okay.
And she has been trailing all day. We've not had a moment where she's, gotten a little bit of a lead at all.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's one of the super powerful women in this country in the last 10 years. So a very, very powerful minister, very well connected.
The question that I do want to ask you all is this. I asked Sanjay Hegde about if there's going to be a difference in judiciary. I want to ask you if you all believe there will be a difference after this in media.
Who's going with this? Aditya, we'll seek your reactions first. You're the political editor of a very important platform in the country. You tell us, and a very close observer of India's media. Please tell us, what do you think? Do you think a major transformation might begin to happen now?
So I think a couple of weeks back, or maybe it was last week, Subhash Chandra held a conference in Le Méridien, or one of the 5-star hotels in Delhi, on press freedom. So Subhash Chandra started talking about press freedom. I think it's an interesting sign of things to come.
Okay, do you want to know what I think? I think the television guys have no loyalties to anybody other than themselves. Okay, I can't speak for a newspaper. I've never really worked for a newspaper. I've worked for television almost my entire career. They don't love anybody. Okay, so their political friendships are so fickle, and they will change tomorrow morning if they feel it suits them better, viewership-wise, and viewership translates into money. So the big television channels who have been really more than PR for government for the last 10 years will suddenly change their spots. Even the biggest guys, the most surprising ones, will change their spots tomorrow morning if they feel it doesn't suit them any further. So for the political bosses, I would say keep a close eye on your friends in the media, because they may not be your friends tomorrow if you are not as powerful anymore. And these are really the guys to watch out for. Anyone who switched and has no ideals and integrity and has switched so deeply and so desperately over the last 10 years from being journalists to being puppy dogs will switch the other way in the next 1 week if it suits them. And that will really be something to watch. I'm grabbing my popcorn and I'm going to start watching television news, because it's going to become really interesting over the next couple of weeks. Mr. Mahan, that was my take.
Very well said. Very well.
Yeah, well, I tend to agree. Basically, what you're saying, if I may put it the other way around, is that these are all just opportunists. But yes, I don't have as high a hope from them as you seem to have, that they will immediately because they're now so deeply entrenched in this system that, a lot will depend on whether the Modi dispensation survives or not. Because if Mr. Modi is able to still remain as the prime minister despite this setback, and a fairly strong setback, then I don't see many of the. I mean, I can always take names, but I don't wish to, because I don't want to personalize this. But a lot of these big channels, as you call them, the channel that I work for, NDTV, which they continue to call it NDTV. I wonder why they don't call it Adani TV channel. I'm really surprised. And they're just going on eating into the NDTV name and using the credibility that
That's
NDTV
what
and
they
all of
bought.
us who work there
That's what they spend the
built
money
for
on.
that channel.
Yeah.
so I think many of the compromised characters are so deeply compromised now that many in the opposition, if the opposition is indeed able to somehow magically cobble together some government, then in any case we'll probably see not as many sackings as we saw in 2014, but we will probably see many of these, star or superstar anchors being downgraded, and they'll probably appear for a few months in the afternoon bulletins, etc., which you, Faye, and we both know. Nobody who counts for something major becomes an afternoon anchor or afternoon editor. So a lot of these luminaries of the last 10 years will gradually fade out, um, may not happen overnight. And if Modi survives, then they will continue with their bhakti, because the bhakti has been so lucrative. Ultimately, as you said, the big bucks are what matters to them, right? So the big bucks will continue to flow in case the prime minister is still the same, the dispensation is, yes, it will get tweaked, and they will not be able to have as much aggression on the polarizing issues as they've had in the past decade. But for the TV walas, that has not mattered at all. No, they've just sold their souls. So they're from journalists, they
I
all
just have
turn into
one.
PROs, public relations guys. So they will continue with their PR, but yes, maybe it will become a little more subtle and not so in your face kind of. Uh, shall I use the word chamchagi or
Please.
psychophancy that we've seen for the last several years?
I just have to put a rejoinder to what I said. I happen to really like puppy dogs. I did not mean to offend puppy dogs. That I did. All right. Yeah, last, shall we do closing? Yes. Chairman, go ahead.
Yes, and one thing I wanted to say that I believe that because well, the TV news channels you already talked about. I think if this situation continues and if the less powerful NDA government comes in power, then the space of alternative media, independent media, will expand in some way, because the kind of operation we have witnessed this time, like for example the news click and all, there are several examples. Like you take a name of any independent media, they have faced the kind of backlash, except from one or two, I think. But so I think that space, the digital media, the independent spaces, that space will get expanded in if this really happened. And today I was very happy in the morning when I was looking at several channels that I watched for quite a long time, the decoder of
Yes.
where Mr.
Ah,
Pranoy Roy was sitting there with Nidhi Razdan, and it was of course it was a touch of nostalgia, but at the same time that these spaces will expand. I believe that is also a digital platform, a kind of independent platform. So I think that that will happen. This kind of operation will become lesser. And last thing is that I think I will have to leave now because
Yeah.
there are. So
No,
if
no, understood. So,
uh,
thank you, all of you. Just quick,
yes.
is anybody have a final wrap quest statements to make, Aditya, from where we're looking at it right now? NDA falling below 290. It's at 289. India is inching by 2-3 seats up since we last looked at those numbers.
I think, yeah, we were at 70, a difference of 70 when we last spoke, and now it's down to 63. So I think the gap is closing a little bit. If I think the gap comes under 50, and if NDA comes under 280 somehow, then I think it can really go in anyway. Because basically, I think any one party switching, if it sort of puts NDA in danger, I think that is where the turning point would come. Currently, I think NDA is still comfortable because it has a lead of 17, and just a switch of one party can't change things.
Mr. Ban, final statement. I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, they need to go below 280 as of now, and the BJP needs to go below 235, I think, for us to actually think realistically of a change of government. Otherwise, maybe the NDA partners will give them support and ensure that this broad dispensation remains. But Faye, the central message of today is that India is getting back to its roots. India is not moving the Hindu Rashtra way. India is going to remain the way we have cherished and wanted this country to be. The secular credentials with which the freedom struggle of this country was run, the principles on which the constitution of this country was framed, I think all of those are now safe and protected, no matter who comes into government, no matter whether it's an NDA government. Of course, if it's an NDA, there's no worry. But even assuming that there is an NDA government,